So, welcome to this week Personal Selling Weekly. Today we will dive into how do you actually prepare the right way for a customer meeting. And the reason why we have chosen this theme for today is that, we have this idea that the meeting always starts before the meeting starts. So again, the more you can show up well prepared, the bigger chance there will be that you actually end up getting from the meeting what you truly want to get. And it sounds easy, but actually there are some nuances, some details we would like to pinpoint today, which I think will help you end up preparing in a more effective way. In the satisfaction selling method, when you think about preparing, what is really essential is that you set yourself up for success. Often when I talk to salespeople around the world and I ask them about thinking about a specific customer meeting, and I then ask them, what is it that you would like to get from this meeting? Very often I get the question, well, I want to land the deal. And then I ask them, but how many times have you actually met this customer? And then say, well, this is the first meeting. And then I immediately have this follow-up question. So typically in your business, how long is a sales cycle? And then they say, 9 to 12 months. And then I look like this and say, wow. So again, you're meeting this customer for the first time in an industry where sales cycles is 9 to 12 months, and then you want to close the deal. It doesn't make sense. And of course, again, at a level, of course, they already get that they are not closing the deal. But in a way, if they set themselves up to close a deal in a meeting where they don't expect it to, they're basically setting themselves up for failure. So I think the first thing you need to really be clear about is how do you set up a target or an ambition for a meeting that makes sense in relation to where you are in the customer's buying circle. And so again so when you think about a specific meeting, think about, okay, well, what is it that actually be reasonable to expect that you can get from this meeting? And then sometimes you get more. But I think the more you set yourself up to setting goals you can actually achieve, the more you will also build your own self-esteem, because you will be a success instead of somebody who haven't gotten the success you have set yourself up for. And I think today we will discuss, again, how you can do this in an effective way. And then, of course, you could ask me, so if it's not about closing the deal, well, what kind of goals could you actually set for yourself? And again, here for me, it really depends on where the customer is on their buying journey. For some customer meetings, it's really about creating an awareness and an interest to even talk to you. Because maybe this customer have never met you. Maybe they don't actually have a real interest in engaging with you. So there again, so if you could, in the first meeting, can create a real interest in actually engaging with you around what they truly want, I think that can be a very good success for a first meeting. When that have been established, now you can move into the second meeting, where you now have a chance to actually have a dialogue with the customer around what's already in place, what is it that they really want to see happening, and how would they like it. And again, for a second meeting, if you really understand the customer's desire, you understand the criteria they're having, you understand how they want to get there, and there are also what we call the operating criteria. If you get that from a meeting, that can be fantastic. And I would even say in some industries, allowing yourself 2, 3, 4 meetings to get this information will be useful. Because if you're selling big, complex solutions, business to business, it's not always possible to get all the criteria from the customers in one meeting. Simply because maybe you need to meet more than one person. So maybe this first meeting will open the door for the next stakeholder, which again will open the door to the next 2 stakeholders. Maybe you need to do this exercise with 8 to 10 people. So again, so when that's in place, that would basically could lead to the next type of meeting, where you could go and present a solution for the customer, because now you know what they want and how they want it. So now you can design and present. And then there, the outcome could be to get a commitment from the customer to say, wow, really, we would like that. And then maybe the next type of meeting you could have is what you could call more kind of negotiation meeting, because now the customer have already told you, yes, we want this, but now it's time to negotiate the terms and conditions. So there you could have a certain set of a matrix for setting up what you want to get from that negotiation to become successful. So again, depending on where the customer are in their process, different outcomes would be reasonable to set for yourself for a meeting. An important part of all of this is your mindset. And your mindset is really governed by the goals or the target you set for a meeting. So I think, again, having this clear, well-defined goal for the meeting will also help you show up with an appropriate mindset for that specific meeting, so that can actually govern what you do and don't do in that meeting. Having this mindset that, wow, we just go and get it, is not always useful. Sometimes it's really powerful to move slow. Well, when you work with people, moving slow can end up being the fastest way to move everything. Also, because if you want to move too fast, the customer will end up feeling being pushed, and then they push back and everything lock. And you don't want that to happen. Sometimes it can actually be much smarter in a way to move a little slower, so that the customer start to pull, and then you follow them. Because now they are the ones who bring the energy into the process, not you. And again, never make a project with a customer more important for you than for the customer. That's really not healthy. You want the customer to want to work with you at least as much as you want to work with the customer. And you can only achieve that experience by not wanting to move too fast. So before you go into a meeting with a customer, preparing for the meeting, there's a lot of things which will be very useful to know about the customer. Again, depending on what you are actually selling and providing to them. So it's very difficult to come up with a generic list of things you should know. But I have found the last year to really use ChatGPT a lot. Simply going in and say, wow, I'm in this business. We have a solution that do this and this for our customers. I'm now meeting this customer. And again, please come up with some relevant information which will be helpful for me to achieve the first step in their buying journey, creating a real interest in engaging with us. And then again, you will get a lot of inspiration, which you can work from. But again here, if you're not clear in your mind of where you are with this customer, you cannot prompt ChatGPT in the most effective way. So you need to understand whether this is a meeting where you want to create interest, whether this is a meeting where you want to truly understand the customer's criteria, or with this is the meeting where you're going to present a solution leading to the commitment, or whether this is a meeting where you're going to negotiate to really get to the compliance where you can start to implement the solution. If you don't have this clear in your mind, you cannot create a high quality prompt for chat. So you could ask, do you have any tools, Henrik, to really do this well? I think we have a tool which we call My PSP Selling Book, which is basically a journal where you can put in notes and which can also help you get an overview of what is going to happen in a meeting. It will help you understand who are the stakeholders you're going to meet. It will maybe also remind you what is the purpose of this meeting, and it will also help you think about how can you actually frame the meeting to begin with so it actually supports you getting what you want. And then also again, basically getting the kind of information you need and want to really help the customer move forward with you. So I think that can be a good tool to look into. And again there, depending on your industry, depending on the product and solution and service you're delivering, this can be really, really different what you need. So there again, I would recommend if you want some more tailored advice, please put a note or a question below the video, and I will be happy to come back with some more tailored advice for your industry and your solutions. So again, you could ask yourself, so what is the one thing I could do to really prepare optimal for my next meeting? And for me, again, it's about using some of all the ideas we have shared with you here today. So really, in a way, look into the company you're going to meet, find the background or the stakeholders you're going to meet, and maybe even do some research in medias and so on. Get as much as you can. And then promise me one thing. Forget about it. Go into the meeting with what we call a blank sheet of paper. Because again, if you think you know the customer before you speak to them, we run the risk that you make false assumptions, which will basically close you down, not allowing you to actually be curious about the people who's actually in the meeting that day. So I think it's okay to prepare yourself, and it's equally important to not believe all the things you now think you know before you have actually heard that information coming out of the mouth of the customer. So when you do that, I think you set yourself up for getting really, really high quality meetings. So thank you once again for tuning in on our Personal Selling Weekly. And as I mentioned a little earlier today, if you have any questions in relation to how to prepare, please put in your questions below, subscribe and like, and then move on. And I'm just looking forward to hear about your great meetings in the coming week. See you once again next week.